The CCTV show Dialogue did a show on the growing concern Chinese citizens have over the privatization of their education system. Since the post-Mao era, free market reforms have been put into effect all across the country. The vast majority of state enterprises were deliberately bankrupted and sold to private businessmen. Almost all of the public services in China have had the same done to them. The reactionary policies that began with Deng Xiaoping have not left education untouched. The Chinese people, students especially, are becoming concerned that the commercial incentives are threatening to erode the ethical fiber of academic integrity. Various educational institutions are competing for grants to study various fields of work on new projects. As they vie for research dollars, the threat of dishonest reporting of results has become more and more prevalent. Competition, it seems, is destroying the ability of researchers to do their job properly. The host of the program, Yang Ri, made it clear that it was important to have an independent ranking of universities. Jim Wolfston, a guest on the program, agreed that it was necessary so that students could find the best schools to apply to. He also said that it was necessary for universities to properly compete. History has shown us that with technical and medical innovation, competition has been a hindrance, not a motivation. All too often, various groups are working on the same project but are unable to share information on a particular development because some investor is concerned about who will have the selling rights to the final product. This secrecy keeps parts of the final picture away from others who have other parts. Imagine trying to solve a jigsaw puzzle with only a few of the pieces. The rest of the image you have to draw yourself without being able to look at the box cover. Now, this is one of the great advantages astrophysics and string theory has. No one can own anything, thus information is exchanged freely. The program then went on to express that an unbiased method of ranking universities was important to people so they could determine which universities were prestigious universities. The current affairs commentator Zhe Dao explained that such a ranking is needed to determine things like student-teacher ratio, how hard it is to get into a particular school. Humorous here is to see the market in action. More people want to go to a particular school, therefore it must be a better institution. In practical terms, this ranking, whether based on superfluous or material conditions, is a promotion of class stratification. The fact is, not all universities are created equal when it comes to placing education in a competition system. Obviously, the more affluent and wealthy customers, not students, will be able to pay more into a particular school. That school gets the academic and resource advantage, attracting even more wealthy students. What this creates is an education system with resources diverted towards the wealthy class. In the ideal, all educational institutions should be given resources based on their need. Obviously, a university with a greater number of students requires a greater allotment of resources. In creating a stratification of educational resources, therefore opportunities, people with less ability but limited financial resources are unable to reach their true potential. A great mind or skill has to go to waste. Not by a lack of resources, but by a lack of opportunity on a class-based system. Interestingly, they failed to notice another one of capitalism's many contradictions. They're promoting a more honest and open way of judging the universities in China so that the market may be able to take its full effect on deciding which universities are best. Yet, at the same time, they acknowledge that the universities are manipulating their data given to be judged. For example, they subtract the academic scores of athletes who are on sports scholarships in order to bring up the GPA of the school, making it more attractive to students. Like a capitalist, they all believe in the market, but they try their hardest to manipulate in horrible, dishonest ways. Yang Ri literally says in the interview that they are seeking a guarantee they are free from commercial incentives. The whole discussion was an exercise in free market promotion. I believe the point of this edition of Dialogue was to broadcast the message that despite all the problems created by privatizing the education system, the elite and its puppets in the fake Chinese Communist Party remain committed to keeping it that way. This drive for an impartial way of measuring schools is a promise to the upper classes that the endemic corruption inherent within the system will be sorted out so they may make sure their children go to the right school, the university that will grant them the proper connections once they've finished. It will become more transparent to the upper class families which school they must send their children to in order to keep them in the advantages that they have and maintaining them in the wealthy ruling class status. In a view, the proper solution is the most radical one. A return to Maoism to solve this educational problem would be the best solution. In the promising years of the great proletarian cultural revolution, schools were democratized. Students themselves chose what subjects they wanted to learn and how they wished to be taught. Students regularly held up teachers for review and decided if they were meeting the criteria or not. It was the students who led the way in developing new technologies, not some private company shelling out cash to universities trying to make them do the work for them, only to turn around and profit from the work of those researchers and students. The students themselves saw the need and actively took up the task of solving problems.